Well, we're still hearing the news every day, news of people threatened with foreclosure. The good news is the housing market is improving, but slowly. And if you're having a tough time making your house payment or you owe more than your home is worth, there's help out there.
Well, our next guest says the key to this solution is knowing what your problem is and what you're facing, and then trying to find a way to go forward from there. And so joining us now to help make that decision is our Lady of the Law, Allison Emery, with the law firm of Emery, Kast, and Walker, the law firm here in Jacksonville that they say they are dedicated to just helping good people going through some bad times. So if someone is looking at possibly losing their home, what are some of the options that you've seen, and how have you been helping people?
Well, one of the main things that people call our office about is, help, I can't afford my mortgage payment, or I've just been served with foreclosure, or even my home is now set for foreclosure sale. What can I do? And so mortgage modification is one of the main things that we do at our law firm. Luckily, there are a ton of programs out there that are available depending on the nature of your hardship, depending on the circumstances and the specifics of the circumstances. So as I always say, the sooner you get in and get help and advice, the better, the more likely it is that we're going to be able to help you.
So what are some of those options? Because like you're suggesting right now, if you wait too long, pretty much your only option is possibly bankruptcy or losing your home.
And actually, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is called the reorganization chapter of bankruptcy, has an element to it that allows us to force the bank to a mediation to discuss a modification of your mortgage. And that can be very effective for the right person. Somebody who's had a hard time getting a modification in the past, or somebody who has let a home get too far into foreclosure. Those are the, sometimes we'll go straight to bankruptcy, but it isn't necessary. That's not always our first go-to move. So the sooner you get in to see us, the better. The good news is that the Making Home Affordable Act, which is a President Obama law, it was set to sunset at the end of this year. It's now been extended through 2015. So all of the things that are within that law that exist to help people modify mortgages, we can still take advantage of those. Primarily the HAMP program, which is called the Homes Affordable Modification Program, is what we use the most. The concept there is that you may reduce your monthly mortgage payment so that it is somewhere in the neighborhood of 31% of your gross income. So for somebody whose mortgage payment already exceeds that, then that would be a very helpful program.
That's one of the main qualifying factors. Are there other things that you have to qualify for in order to be able to use this program?
Well, HAMP is kind of the gateway. We start with the HAMP analysis, and if you don't qualify for HAMP, then we slide you into another program. But HAMP is the first tier of the mortgage modification analysis, so that's what we look at first. I had a family not too long ago that came into our office that bought their house during the height of the market. Their mortgage payment was about $1,900, almost $2,000 a month. So at the time, together, they were making about $100,000 a year, so that was fairly affordable. Well, of course, the economy crashed, things got bad. One of them lost their job, and so they had an income of $50,000 a month, a year, sorry. And so making that $2,000 mortgage payment was pretty difficult to do. So what we did is we went in through the Homes Affordable Modification Program using the only remaining income of the husband, which was about $5,000 a month. We were able to get the mortgage payment down under $1,500 a month. So that was a savings of $500 to $600 a month, which is really significant. Of course, what happens is that pushes your mortgage out over more time. So now we go to 40-year mortgages with reduced interest rates, but at least it helps the bottom line there. And once you get a modification, there's nothing to stop you from paying it off. Things get better, the spouse goes and gets a job, then you can start making higher payments again, but you're not obligated to. So that's the good news. It doesn't keep you from paying it off early if your circumstances change for the better.
But to be able to have that kind of an option, you really got to stop it early, don't you?
Well, you do, because the sooner you come to us, the better. There will be a point at which it's too late, and unfortunately bankruptcy is going to be your only option at that point. So if you get in to see us right when you're about to miss a payment, or you're about to fall behind, then we can probably offer you the whole gamut of options. Unfortunately, when you have a sale date pending tomorrow, we're pretty limited. We actually can stop that with a bankruptcy, but for people that say, hey, listen, I don't need a bankruptcy, I don't have any other debt, it's just my mortgage payment that's the problem, then that's really where the modification programs come in handy and are really the best option for people at that point, right?
Yeah, if people are facing some hardships, it's not a great economy, people are losing their jobs, and I'm sure you've heard this, well, if I can't afford to pay my bills, how can I afford a lawyer?
Well, certainly, and many times these are people who aren't paying a mortgage because they've defaulted. Once you get far enough behind on your mortgage, they don't take your payments anymore. So sometimes we have people who had a hard time, now they've got a job again and they could afford to make that payment, except the bank won't accept that. So sometimes they have a little money they can pay us with. We also do payment plans, payment arrangements. You can pay us over time. We really do work with people because obviously our clients aren't generally walking in the door with, you know, $10,000 in hand. So we really do as much as we can to work with all of our clients on getting our fees paid.
Any other scenarios that have come up that you've been able to stop this kind of a motion?
Well, we actually, I call it the golden unicorn because principal reduction is something that you don't see much of, but it does exist out there. And if you have the right advocate and the right person who can help you with the paperwork, then sometimes the bank will come back and slash $100,000 off your mortgage. Again, it doesn't happen very often, but we have seen it. So it's the options out there. You don't know unless you ask. So, you know, come on in and let us tell you what your options are.
And then one other thing, if you did extend that then to, I guess, was that under the Chapter 13, where you could extend it over a 40-year loan?
No, that's not through Chapter 13.
Oh,
That's a regular modification.
That's a regular
right.
modification. So if you do that 40-year, at a point when you find yourselves, both parties are working
Exactly.
now and you got your income up, can you switch that back to a regular and shorten
Well,
that
you
term?
want it. You have a modified mortgage now. That's your legal mortgage. However, if you add extra money to the payment every month, you're paying the principal, and so you just go and get one of those calculators that tells you, hey, if I add $500 a month, how much more quickly can I get this paid off? And then you're not obligated to make that higher payment. If you can do it, great. But at least you've got a payment you can afford no matter what happens. Is the idea behind the program.
All right. Well, thank you, Allison.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate
Thanks
you
for
being
having
here.
me,
And
as
we'd like to
always.
thank the ladies of the law for their advice, and we'd like to thank Emery, Kast, and Walker for sponsoring this segment.
Remember, the biggest mistake that you can make when facing financial hardships is to do absolutely nothing. The legal team of Emery, Kast, and Walker understands what you're going through, and they're there to help good people in bad times. Just visit their website at www.jackslawyer.com or call them at 904-404-3394 for a free consultation to find if they got any solutions to your problems, which a lot of times they will figure out for you. They have offices in Jacksonville and also in St. Augustine.